So, my topic for today is all about science, technology, and human flourishing. So, what is science, technology, and human flourishing? So here, human flourishing involves the rational use of one's individual human potentialities, including talents, abilities, and virtues in the person of his freely and rationally chosen values and goals. Science and technology must be treated as part of human life that needs reflective and meditative thinking. So the best examples of human flourishing with science and technology today are: the first one is internet, the second one is iPhone and Android, the third one is movies, and the last one is music on radio and CD. So why? Because science and technology allow us to understand the natural world, which allows us to make tools that promote our own welfare and the welfare of all others. So it is a means towards human flourishing.
Another examples of science, technology, and human flourishing. Technology is a means of improving human existence, not a result. That said, learning is a luxury that people living close to the edge of survival cannot afford. So a certain minimum level of survival is necessary before technology can begin to help improve things. An example would be metallurgy. The existence of stone tools and hunting weapons allowed people to survive under conditions that otherwise would have driven them extinct. But the improvement in living conditions provided by stone tools allowed people to spend time mining materials and learning to forge metals. In turn, the development of metal tools allowed for more efficient hunting weapons and tools for shaping building materials like dry stone blocks, which were more durable than mud bricks.
Flourishing. It is the state where people experience positive emotions, positive psychological functioning, and positive social functioning. Most of the time, living within an optimal range of human functioning. When we say positive psychological functioning, according to Claire Felcour, a core faculty in the clinical psychology department, positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life worth living. By exploring the positive emotions, thoughts, behavior, patterns, and relationships that contribute to human flourishing. And according to her, positive psychology is not about being happy all of the time, but rather about valuing positive emotions, engagement with life and activities, positive relationship, meaningful life experiences, and accomplishment in your life. Some examples are volunteering and do more for others, celebrate and savor success, have a future orientation, listen deeply when you are talking with someone. And flourishing is also a descriptor and measure of positive mental health and overall life well-being, and includes with multi-components and concepts such cultivating strengths, subjectives, well-being, goodness, growth, and resilience. Like for example is having a nice or better relationship with other people, where you can go to him or her, ask for something without judgment.
Human flourishing is defined as an effort to achieve self-actualization and fulfillment within the context of a larger community of individuals, each with the right to pursue his or her own such efforts. Human flourishing is important because it promotes the growth, development, and holistic well-being of individuals and populations. It serves as a moral basis for what it means to be a human being. Examples of human flourishing. Human flourishing includes basic or generic goods and virtues. For example, such goods as knowledge, health, friendship, creative achievement, beauty, and pleasure. And also such virtues or rational dispositions such as integrity, temperance, courage, and justice, which are valuable not merely as means to human.
My topic is about components of human flourishing. According to Fredrickson and Losada, flourishing is characterized by four main components: goodness, generative, growth, and resilience. Flourishing is related to the Aristotelian concept of eudaimonia. Flourishing is when people experience positive emotions, positive psychological functioning, and positive social functioning, most of the time living with an optimal range of human functioning. It is a descriptor and measure of positive mental health and overall life well-being, and includes multiple components and concepts such as cultivating strengths, subjective well-being, goodness, generativity, growth, and resilience. Flourishing is the opposite of both pathology and languishing, which are described as living a life that feels hollow and empty. It is a central concept in positive psychology developed by Corey Keyes and Barbara Fredrickson.
Friendship is also one of components of human flourishing. It is a mutual admiration between two human beings. Example of friendship is it is a good for your health. Friends can help celebrate good times and provide support during bad times. Friends prevent loneliness and give you a chance to offer needed compassion too. And last is the power, a cognitive power of judgment. When we say power of human flourishing, it is talk about of one's individual's human potential, including the talents, abilities, and virtues in the pursuit of his freely and rationally choosing values and goals.
Changes of elements that comprises human flourishing. As time change, elements that comprises human flourishing change, which are subject to the dynamic social history as written by human people found means to live more comfortably, example, more places, develop more products, and make more money. And then repeating the process is in full circle. Our concept of human flourishing today proves to be different from what Aristotle originally perceived. In humans of today are expected to become a man of the world. He is supposed to situate himself in global neighborhood. Competition as means of survival is the new trend.
Eastern versus Western conception on human flourishing. Eastern conception focus is community-centric. General knowledge addresses the whole of human existence, and Chinese Confucian systems that deals both inner and outer life of a person, while Western conceptions are more focused on the individual, focus specific knowledge, and only focuses on a certain aspect of human conditions. Example: Western way of thinking is alluded to the way of thinking from Greek that impacted most of Western civilization. In opposite, the Eastern way of thinking is based mostly in Asia, all the more explicitly the Chinese way of thinking. Accordingly, it is the most would agree that Eastern way of thinking is traditional Chinese, while Western way of thinking is more in Latin. In summary, Eastern and Western thinkers are alike believe that human flourishes are essentially the same all over the world. It only differs on its respective details and customs. The Eastern and Western ideas of human thriving the society is unique in relation to one another.
Examples of Eastern versus Western conception on human flourishing. Western philosophy, therefore, is naturally skeptical, rationalistic, and confrontational. A philosopher will typically create an entire philosophy based on the rejection and destruction of a previous system, just as logical positivism, for example, was an extreme reaction against Hegelian metaphysics, which in turn was offered an improvement to Kantian idealism, which finally, in its turn, was originally created as a response to the questions raised by skeptic David Hume. Eastern philosophy typically does not use doubt or argumentation to the extent Western philosophy does. Instead, the devotee in Eastern philosophy is encouraged to quiet the loud and argumentative rational mind through meditation to let other awareness in.
Science and technology. Science means about the study and discovery of nature. The forces and interaction between different things, both animates and inanimates, while technology can be referred to as things which we make but were developed by applying scientific law. Knowing what such things are capable of doing. The basis of science is the conducting of experiments, which the technology is the way we apply experimental learning for useful purposes. The example of this is the computer with the use of internet. By using this technology, people can make things easier and convenient in 21st century. The technology is being adopted in this generation. It is very useful in every aspect in terms of study and work related, because people gather information through these things and it involves scientific process. Truth they have observed and through technologies people can easily connect to the other people and to the world, such as smartphones, social media apps. The rapid changes in the world is made by the humankind using the technology.
Scientific method is a set of procedures that scientists follow in order to gain knowledge about the world. However, the steps involved in the scientific method vary widely among the different scientific disciplines. Chemists follow the method a bit differently than psychologists, geologists, and botanists have their own unique methods. There are 6 key steps that tend to characterize the scientific method. The first step is the question. This is the part where scientist proposes the problem that he wants to solve. A well-conceived question usually leads to a hypothesis, a potential answer to the question at hand. Sometimes hypotheses look more like prediction. Then the experiments are ordered investigation that are extended to prove or disprove the hypothesis. Important data comes from performing an experiment. An observation is a statement of knowledge gained through the senses or through the use of scientific experiment. Observations are crucial for collecting data. Data analysis involves comparing the result of the experiment to the prediction posted by the hypothesis. Then the conclusion of a scientific process is a statement of whether the original hypothesis was supported or refuted by the observations gathered. The scientific method usually employs all 6 of the steps I mentioned, but steps don't always occur in the same order. Well, scientists may go back and repeat steps many times before they come to any conclusion. Like for the example from my own experience, I had a minor ordeal with my internet connection at home. I had started up my laptop and I was frustrated to find that I couldn't get on the internet. I made the observation that my laptop wasn't receiving an internet connection. I asked myself a question: is something wrong with the internet itself, or what Was it just my laptop? One way to begin in answering this question was to check the connection on the desktop computer. Quickly, I performed a hypothesis. If the internet isn't working on the desktop, either then the problem is beyond my laptop computer. The experiment I performed was to check the desktop connection, and my resulting observation was that the internet didn't work there, so by analyzing the evidence, I was able to perform my first conclusion. Nothing is wrong with my laptop, and something is wrong with the internet connection. Now this conclusion answered my first question.
Verification. A process used to demonstrate the functional correctness of a design. To make sure that you are indeed implementing what you want. To make sure that the result of some transformation is expected. And also verifies the intermediary products of stages to see whether it matches the specific requirements of that particular phase. Check whether the product is developed according to the predetermined requirements and design particulars. Can be done without execution of the software. Static methods are used. Example of verification. Let us say that you are developing a cell phone to be launched in the market. You conducted the market research and then collected the number of functionalities to be included in the cell phone. Then you decide the procedures to be used to build the product of the specifically the quality requirements for it.
Falsificationism is a proposed way of distinguishing science from pseudoscience and understanding what's distinctive about scientific theories. It suggests that scientific theories are scientific in virtue of there being some tests that could prove them correct. If a hypothesis conflicts with what an experiment shows according to this theory, then it should be abandoned. Strict falsificationism isn't widely accepted anymore today, for reasons outlined below. Example, it's much harder to collect evidence demonstrating the truth of a general positive assertion than it's to collect evidence demonstrating the falsity of similar assertion. Strictly speaking, to know the statement of a form that speed of light through some medium is an absolute upper limit on the speed of anything through that medium. We would need to look at the motion every possible thing through every possible medium is every possible situation. That's not practical, but only a single reliable instance of something moving faster than light through a medium would serve to demonstrate that the proposition is false.